from Off-Grid Desert Farming with Paul and Adrian, and the news just keeps getting worse, folks. You can't make this stuff up. It looks like the Americans are trapped now in Kabul in Afghanistan, and I don't know if this is going to work out good for us. It says Waterloo, 20,000 heavily armed Taliban have encircled 5,000 NATO troops. Tragic mistake of the Americans. This might end up like General Custer, when General Custer was wiped out by 2,000 Indians at one of the last battles when we were fighting the Indians. So what has happened, folks, is in the last 24 hours, these Taliban troops are right on the outskirts of Kabul, ready to take over the city. And we were supposed to be sending 3,000 heavily armed troops, but they haven't even left, folks. They haven't even arrived. And now they're fearing that these 5,000 NATO troops and British troops and American troops are going to be slaughtered because they won't be able to get out of Afghanistan. So let's go ahead and read the article. This is happening right now. Things are just looks like they're getting worse. A 10-minute drive separates 5,000 NATO troops from 20,000 Taliban. The tragedy is unfolding in Afghanistan is unprecedented. The Taliban are heavily armed with American and Russian equipment. A few hours ago, they took control of the gate of the Madan Shar leading to Kabul. The tragic mistake of the Americans. Misunderstanding and chaos prevailed between the Pentagon and the White House. While the Pentagon was planning the complete withdrawal of the U.S. mission staff from Kabul, CENTCOM stated that this is now impossible. So CENTCOM over our military is stating there's no way to evacuate. They're surrounded, they're trapped, and I don't know if the Taliban's going to have any mercy on them, folks. This could be a slaughter. This could be the Waterloo for the American Army. It says in a matter of hours, to be exact, 48 hours or at the most 72, Kabul will be in the hands of the Taliban as the latter are within shooting distance of the capital, which is surrounded. At the same time, while the Pentagon announced the deployment of 3,000 troops to evacuate Afghanistan, and in particular Kabul, this is completely impossible. When all the American power arrives, there will be no Kabul left. So what they're saying, folks, is it's too late. It's too late to reinforce them because they underestimated the enemy. The arrogant generals in the Pentagon and our CENTCOM and the White House has underestimated the Taliban. And now there are 5,000 American, British, and NATO troops trapped in the capital, and they don't think they're going to be able to get out. So this is happening right now. This is going to be a tragic, if this progresses and they're not able to evacuate them, there's going to be a slaughter of American citizens, United Kingdom citizens, and NATO troops. And this is our Pentagon that's leading us against Russia and China. And they really think that we can beat Russia and China when we can't even beat these Taliban fighters. We gave them all the equipment, folks. He said, who and why are responsible for such a tragic assessment? From the American assessment that Kabul will fail in 60 days, went from 30 days, and finally just in 24 hours. So the Taliban, they thought it'd take them 60 days to take the capital. Now it's just less than 24 hours away. A great effort is already being made to relocate most of the citizens abroad. 3 United States Air Force KC-135s flew from McConnell Air Force Base to join 3 other KC-135s and C-17s to transport Americans and Afghans who had been assisting U.S. forces for years. So that's what happens when you get leadership that don't know what the hell they're doing. It says, how long will the American forces last? How long will the new U.S. aid stand against a host of fanatical Taliban jihadists, members of ISIS and Al-Qaeda? Russian analysts believe that the U.S. forces can delay the fall of Kabul for a maximum of 24 hours. Even if the American armament is far superior, the American forces will not be able to endure for that long. Although the United States has strategic bombers, fighters, satellites, and other weapons, they cannot use them inside the city of Kabul. All key areas around Kabul Kabul fell into the hands of the Taliban within the last 24 hours, the Americans will not be able to stand any longer. He said, for the first time, the Taliban fighters have deployed aviation. In this footage, the crew of one of the M-17 helicopters of the Afghan Air Force, which went over to the side of the Taliban, is transferring militants. So the forces that we trained against the Taliban are now fighting against us, folks. The helicopter pilots, the Air Force pilots of the former Afghan army have switched sides.